Hey, hi, Hari.
Hello, hello Shiva. Can you hear me?
Yes, Hari. Yeah, let me wait for a few more minutes. Yeah, since these are weekend sessions and that to the initial, right? The people will be turning out slowly.
Yeah, weekend everybody becomes lazy now, and we
Yeah.
have a lot of other works, especially in the evening.
Yeah, correct.
Shiva, I really like your website, man. The the use case which you put there.
Okay,
I see the most of the guy who are providing a training, they have a basic knowledge. Nobody asks those things during an interview question.
correct.
Shiva?
Yes, Hari.
I just want to know if you have a time, right? My background is not from coding. So you think if I put in my resume Spark SQL, that good for me?
Your voice is little bit breaking. Um,
Yeah. So I was saying, right? Even if I'm not a good in a coding, so if I put a Spark SQL, right? I fill the whole.
Uh, Not good in coding if you put Spark SQL in resume. Anyway, Spark SQL will be anyway add-on. My point is, you may need to uh, put the Spark native experience also. At least if you are not good in Java or Scala, at least if you have any Python knowledge, you can write all the Scala examples that which I am going to cover in the Python language as well.
Okay, sure, sure. Thanks.
You have Python experience?
No, my background is from BI side.
Yeah, BI side. Yeah, I mean, if you know, 3 4 people are there in the same batch. Like they learned all Hive, Impala, HBase, Scoop, Uzi. Though they are like, I mean, those are the strongest areas for them. And into Spark, like again, so try to achieve anyway. Spark SQL, nothing to do for you. You will anyway you learn it. Okay, in
Okay.
2 3 classes itself, you will catch it up. Okay, you'll master it. That's not a big deal. The thing is, try to understand the Spark native code as well. If you are not from Java background, it will not even that much confusing. Okay,
Okay.
because I will be teaching you from the beginning. There will be a bit tough time for the Java guys in migrating the syntax from Java to Scala.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so it's anyways good, but the only thing is try to catch up as much as you can from the Spark native as well.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, so that's what my intention is. Okay, yeah, anyone else faced any Scala installation issues? So I think Madhavi, you are set now. um, Mamta, did you try it out?
I did not try this on the Unix system. I tried on the Windows box.
Okay.
I could do that.
Okay, you are able to do that. Okay.
So Windows system, because it was night, it was too late. I was waiting for your email. So I know it is going to come after 3-4 hours. So then I thought tomorrow I can do that.
No. Okay. You didn't receive any email from me?
Yeah, I received, because for me, in the early morning when I wake up, I'll have other schedule, right?
Oh, okay, 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 okay. No
So that's why weekends is busy for me.
problem. Okay. Yeah.
So my son's swimming class, that shopping, cleaning,
Oh,
and all days goes off.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me start sharing my screen. And I will put everyone else on mute.
Do we have to install Luna? I mean Eclipse Luna for the
Scala?
IDE.
Yes. Yes. For today's class, it may not be, mandatory.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I can show you from the Scala shell itself. So
But there was one more IDE in the same download you gave me. That what is? I
that
don't.
IntelliJ,
Yeah.
that is one another IDE similar to Eclipse for Scala or Java development.
No, because I would like to use the same thing what you use, so that we will be in sync.
Yes, you go use the same Eclipse Luna.
Okay. Lunar, right?
Luna.
Okay, LUNA, right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So to quickly summarize what we discussed so far, so on the first day we discussed about the Scala and Spark introduction and the differences between Spark and Hadoop, and compared the performance and the coding efforts for Spark and MapReduce code. And then we have seen one example for Spark SQL and Hive as well. So, and yesterday we started with basic Scala. We talked about the Scala features and why we need to go for Scala, and some of the salient features of the Scala. Just the listing down these feature names, but we didn't talk much anything about it. Okay, and so installing Scala on both on your Windows and as well as Linux boxes, we have seen that. Okay, so once we install that, we just saw execution of 10 plus 20 or something like basic commands. Okay, so that is shell execution. What if you want to write your Scala code into your file, and from there you want to compile it and execute it? Okay, so that Scala shell, some people call it as a Scala interpreter. I mean, it can be called as interpreter, but but in the back end, it is not acts like an interpreter. It is a compile-based language only. So whether you are aware of it or not, I'm not sure. So interpreter-based languages means, so like for example, any Perl scripts, all these scripting kind of languages, most of the times they will be interpreter based, meaning whenever you submit any statement, if you write one line of code, that will get submitted to the executor, and on the fly that will execute and it will show a result. Okay, so that those are called as interpreter based languages. But compile based languages are like C, C++, Java, and even the Scala. So Scala is whenever you submit any Scala code, so ideally we submit through writing into a file, and to execute that, it gets first compiled, and then that bytecode will be submitted to JVM, and results will be thrown back to us, right? So that is compiled based behavior. But in Scala shell, you almost feel it like this is a interpreter based language, because whenever you submit every one line of Scala code, so that will get executed, and if it is having any results, it will show us back. But in the backend, each of those lines will be written into a Scala object, and that will get compiled, and the results will be shown from that bytecode execution. Okay, so that's the difference between the compile based and interpreter based languages. So Scala is a completely compiled based language only, and but it resembles like interpreter based language when you are able to run that through the your Scala shell. Okay, so for now, to show the simple example, so I will write very basic hello world example, same as like Java hello worlds. Okay, so for now, let's not worry about this first line. So we are creating an object hello world, which is extending another class or trait. In Scala terminology, we call it as traits. This is an interface. So let's not worry about this. So take it as like public static void main in the Java program. Okay. So in order to play anything or execute anything, so you need this bare minimum template in if you have to write it through a program file. Okay, first you code this first line, and inside this curly braces of your class, you can write any of your executable code. So just to print hello world, I have to write this into a .scala program file. And unlike your Java, there is no mandatory rule that your object name should be exactly matching your file name. Okay, so most of the times I try to compare it with Java concepts. Whoever are coming from non-Java background, it is even more easier for you. Coming from Java background, there will be some confusions, because some of this Java's standards will get overridden or overruled in Scala. That's why you guys will get confused. For whoever are coming from non-Java background, you don't even need to consider all those differences at all. Okay, so whatever the syntax that you get from Scala, take it as granted, and anyway there will not be any confusions. Okay, so let's say if you have this hello world.scala program, and the command to compile this, same as in Java. Java we have, if you remember, if you are from Java, any language, like we have Java C command and program name. Okay, file1.java was the command to compile your Java program. And to execute it, so after compilation of file1.java, you will see file1.class file being generated. Okay, in case of dot class file, you don't need to give the dot class extension also. For executing this, Java space file1 is sufficient to execute that. The same commands, Scala C, your hello world dot. Scala is the command to compile your Scala code, and same as Scala space hello world is enough to execute it. Okay, let me remove this compiled. Yeah, this is it's a similar, it's corresponding Java code. In Java code, we need to write everything into a class, right? Class name, given a class name, and define a public static void main method. So assume similar to these two lines, here in Scala, we have this first line. So instead of class, we could even write directly the object. And the object name is given, extending this, and println this one. And here I call system.out.println. If you have to see this. So I'm starting with very basic. So you can stop me anywhere. I mean, if you're not getting it. Okay.
Where do you save these files? We don't have to give the complete path?
So I saved, for simplicity, I gave them in my home directory.
Okay. That is user directory. That's in Linux system, right?
No. I'm showing it from my Windows OS itself. Since I'm talking about the programming languages, Java and Scala, so these will be same both in your Linux and as well as your Windows. Okay. At least till the end of your Scala practice sessions, you can utilize your Windows OS itself.
Afterwards, like we should be completely on Linux, is it?
Afterwards, completely meaning yes. So that you will be pretty hands-on in both the environments, right? So that is my plan.
Okay.
Okay. So just compile this Java code and into execute this. So it printed hello world, that's it. Just 3 lines of code. And the same thing, the Scala code that I have written there, hello world. See, when I compiled hello.java, it generated hello.class file. And when I compiled this hello world.scala, it created hello world $.class and hello world.class. There are some few fundamental theoretical concepts. At this moment, it might be confusing you. You might not catch this up. The only thing that you have to catch up is right now, hello world.scala, if you compile .scala program, it will generate its corresponding .class files. Okay? It may not be always exactly the class, the file name or the object name. It might have the dollar also an extra .class file being generated. And why the $.class file along with the .class? I mean, from Java nature, if you observe, if it would have generated only hello world.class, you would not be surprised. You are able to see this $.class also. Okay? We'll see why we'll discuss this sometime later. Okay. So here my intention is that here the dot class for dot Java files to dot classes will generate it, and here dot Scala to dot class files will generate it after compilation. And
So
giving that
yeah.
giving that main class is sufficient for your execution. No such class. No such. Once again.
For me, I'm getting error like when I say Scala and whatever the hello world dot Scala, if I say, I'm getting error.
Are you using Scala C or Scala?
Scala C.
So what is that error? First,
Error 8, error not found value Scala.
Scala C, meaning you
Yeah.
might not have set up the path.
So
So you need to add that into environment variables.
that's wherever the Scala has been installed.
Yes, take that path, add that into this.
Okay, where will it will be in the okay, I'll check. Thanks, Shiva.
Okay. Yep. No such file or class on class path. Hello world. Okay, how come it's giving me such file or class on class path? Let me give the complete path then.
Shiva, when we have to give the path, there are so many folders in Scala like bin, lib, which is the complete.
Into bin folder you have to give. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Yep. So this is the main class. One second. It's the same. Hello world. Is there any typing mistake that I did? Let me exit that and see. Somehow it's not picking up the. It's there on the same. Okay. Yeah, either it could be the class path issue on my machine. So Scala, hello, I think I didn't change anything to my last batch. So Scala, hello world, no such file or class on class path. Yeah, it's not, either way, it's not picking up. Let me see this later. And what is this is an installation issue.
You have to use the class path, right? Environment variable.
Yes, yes. We have to set up the class path environment. Okay. So meanwhile, in case if you have already set up the Scala Eclipse, so this is just to show you through command line in case if you have to do it, but most of the times you will never be doing this through command line. You'll always be doing through the Eclipse in real time. Okay. Even that I will try to show you here.
Shiva, can you please specify that Scala space dot space hello world?
It's there in the same dot. No such file dot. It's not even, let me see. It's not recognizing any of these things. Java space. JNA error has occurred. Please check your installation and try again. Yeah, there is some class path setup issue. And let me check this. Okay.
Shiva, one more try. Scala space minus CP space
The class path. Yep.
dot space hello world.
Yeah, to set up the class path, right? Yeah. So the other way is like environment variables. Go to environment variables. Class path. Oh, okay. What happened was, I think I recently installed some TIBCO related softwares, which overridden my class path, I think. Okay. So if I give this home directory path, it should be able to pick up this. Let me see. Yeah, it's able to pick up now. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, some TIBCO related software I installed on my machine, so that overridden the existing class path environment variables. Okay. In your case also, Mamta, seems
I'm still getting the same error. I set the environment variable.
both path and class path.
Oh, I just set it for only class path.
Okay.
Set it for paths too.
Yep. Bin folder where your Scala command is available, that bin folder should be available in your path environment variable. Generally, most Windows 10 onwards, it should be able to take care at least the path environment variable, if not class path. Okay, so this directory, I mean, I installed it. It got installed into program files, Scala and bin. Okay, this is the one that I added. I mean, it got added automatically to this thing. All this got added into the path environment variable. In case if you had any class path issues, yes, you can check this. And you can write into any of the your folders. Only thing is, wherever those .class files will get generated, that folder path you have to give it into your class path directories. So otherwise, it will not be able to pick that up there. So the same error which I got initially, so that one you will get it. Okay. So this is through writing into a .scala file and compiling it and executing it. And in case if you want to write it through your Eclipse, Scala Eclipse. So these are some of the projects that I gave to last batch. Okay, let me create a new Scala project. I'm keeping you on mute, Mamta. Okay, I'm getting some. Okay, so Scala project. Test Scala. So I will write this. Okay, so once you write into this, if you want to practice it same like your shell, either you can create Scala worksheet or you can write your code into your Scala object. Inside a Scala object, if there is any logic that I have there, you can write into Scala object and then run it. Okay. Let's say if the same hello world, if you have to run it from here. Okay. So just extends app, write the same thing here. Okay. And println hello world. You don't even need to give the system.out.
Case sensitive?
Yes, Scala is a case sensitive, same like your Java.
Okay.
Okay, and you don't need a semicolon. And once you write anything, anything into an object that is extending app, any executable code within these curly braces will get executed, and you can run it as. So just saving here, saving in the Eclipse is enough to compile it, and you can run them as Scala application. Okay. If it would have been a Java program, let's say if it is the same inside the same package, if you want to write the same Java code also, you can write. Okay. Let's say if I have to write a Java class, the same hello dot that I have written there, right? So public class hello, public static void main. So I'm starting with very basics. Okay, if there are anyone who are already familiar with this may get bored. Okay. System.out. println, or in the simple shortcut is sysout control space. In the Eclipse, it will expand the system.out.println. Okay, the same hello world. Okay, you can even write both Java code and as well as Scala code into the same Scala project, right? Just now I created the test Scala. It is a Scala project, and I created the hello.java and hello.scala into both of them. And my Java program, I can run it as a Java application in the same project. So it's getting launched. Okay, it printed the hello world, and here, so you have written the hello world.scala, and once we run it, so from here you don't even need to take care of all those class path issues and these things. It will get automatically taken care by your Eclipse.
So I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
How is it taking whether it's a Scala file or a Java file? Are you pointing it somewhere?
So based on its .scala extension.
Okay.
And the object notation that we are.
So based on the notation, it automatically gives us. Okay.
Yeah, that is how it. If you see the symbol be prefixing in front of this hello world.scala, this is yes, this is J. With the .java or .scala extension, it's able to identify that, right?
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So very, very basic. Now, yeah. So that way, you have written a very basic program and compiled it and executed it. Okay. And without even compiling, sometimes you can even submit that directly .scala file also to Scala. Okay. Let's say if I have Scala hello world it's a bit behaving differently. Did I remove anything here? Okay. Let me see that. And you can execute the inline commands also, meaning same like if you are aware of your Hive inline execution commands, Hive -e kind of stuff, right? Same way, you can execute any of your Scala code with just -e option and put whatever code in a single code, and it should be able to accept the previous one also. Let me see that later. Okay, but generally we don't do these two options ever. Like unclosed character literal. So an error found. Println. Sorry, it's in single quotes. Okay. We'll never use these things in real time, but let me show the options. How come I ran all these things and like giving so println dot Scala closed character. Should not be. Was unexpected this time. Okay, let me see this offline. These things were working. All the batches.
For me, even after setting, I'm not getting that. Probably I might need help later.
Okay, I will set that up path for you. Okay, no issues. Yeah, but most of the times in real time, you will be doing it through the Eclipse this way. So compile this and execute this. And in case if you want to run it only a simple piece of code, okay, then what you can do is create a Scala worksheet. Or else I'll simply create WS. Okay, so inside this, you can keep writing all your examples. They will get executed. So just same, whatever the thing that you want to execute. You just have to run selection code in Scala interpreter that will get executed. Or if you don't, if you save it, if you just save it, this worksheet, each and every line of the worksheet will get executed and it will show its results on the right side in the comment section itself. Let's say if you take 10 plus 20, even this, if you save it, that's enough. So just saving is enough. It will print you the results against each statement. So sometimes this will be helpful in running your large size Scala code. So to debug them, so you can just copy paste it here and save if you don't have any dependencies with other classes. If it is a plain executable code, you can see all the intermediate results on the right side. You can keep debugging this. Okay, this is one of the debugging way. Anyway, you can still do the same Java kind of debugging here also, using the right click and debug as Scala application. and you can put some breakpoints and see the intermediate values at every statement. Okay, so these things we have seen. So before getting started with the actual programming, so just we saw in a basic hello world how to write a program file, compile it both through the command line and as well as the Eclipse. Now let's see how to deal with basic programming. So before even learning any programming language commands or statements, first we need to know how to declare the variables there. It could be any language. It could be C, C++, or Java, or even Pig, Hive, or anything, right? So we need to know how to declare variables there. And in order to declare variables, you need to know the data types, right? So each variable, what is the data type of it? Whether it is an integer, whether it is a string, or a float, double, what is its data type? Okay. So here the data types supported by Scala are pretty much all came from the Java's data types only. So unlike your Java, in Java we have the data types mainly of, we categorize them, the primitive data types. So we call them as a primitive data types, and the object or the advanced data types, like which are created from the objects. Okay, int, char, float, double. So all these are primitive data types. In Java. So in the same Java, if you are aware of the wrapper classes, you have integer class, you have char, you have float. Okay, so the first class, first letter is uppercase. We are also seeing. Okay, so these are corresponding wrapper classes in Java. Okay, but here Scala also we have the same data types: integer, char, float, double, long. All these data types are there in Scala as well. Now, the difference between the Scala data types and Java data types is that you don't have a distinction for primitive data types which can be created without objects. So in order to create integers in Java, just specify int I equal to 10. You don't need to create an object. Whereas, let's say if you have to create string yes, you can create this way as well. Of course, you can give double quotes, so which in turn will get have a string object and will get assigned it to it. You can't create an object for primitive data types for integers, but for as well string, new string of, you can give something here. So that is creating an object and assigning them. So for int I equal to or int j equal to, you don't have new int because this is not a class, small int. If you want to make it as an object, you have to go for integer classes. New integer of 100. Take any parameter. Then this 100 will get assigned to this, if this is an integer type. Okay. So what I am trying to say is, in Java, you have both primitive data types and as well as the wrapper classes introduced later in the later Java releases. But in Scala, everything is an object. You'll see int, float, double. Int I equal to, here the variable declaration is bit different. I equal to new int, you can create this. Meaning all these data types are also objects only, even the primitive data. There is no concept of primitive without object. Okay. So yeah, that is the difference that the Java programmers have to catch up. For others, it's simply same. You can consider it like you have these data types, char, byte, short, and they can be represented with this. And these are the sizes that take them in the background. Okay. So both numeric and non-numeric data types all are supported. And there are some operators which are not supported in Scala, but they are there in Java. Something like plus plus, minus minus. Plus plus to increment by 1. The same thing you can achieve plus equal to 1, minus equal to 1, that way. Okay. So before going into the details and the examples of these things, so if we need to categorize these things, the hierarchy of the data types, the super type of all the data types, the super type is any. If you define any data type, you can assign any value to it. Under that any, we have two categories. One is a value type and second one is reference types. So value types are something that you can immediately assign a value, meaning either your character, boolean, or any of the numeric types that we have seen, int, float, long, double, these things. Reference data types are like objects to any class that you create. For example, even the string is a class in Java and as well as is a class in Scala. And any other class objects and the complex data types which we call the collections, the same Java collections, list, set, all these things are available in Scala as well. We have a separate session on, we have separate slides and separate time allocated for to discuss much more into collections, even in Scala. Yeah, first, let's try to understand the different data types that's enough. Okay. And if there is nothing to represent, you can even specify the nothing. And if you are not returning any value, so null and nothing, more or less similar to specifying there is nothing to return from a function. Because nothing and null can't be used with variables generally. They can be return types of your methods at max. Okay. Under this any, you have this any val and any reference, right? And again, under any val, you have seen the numeric types, correct? The numeric types, the classes are these things: scalar, double, float, long, int, short, byte. These are the numeric classes or the data types that are available. This is the char and boolean and unit. Unit is also something that any value that can be, but If you are, it is equivalent to void in Java. If you are from Java background, if there is, and again, unit is not used with a variable declaration. It can be a return type of a method, but all these things can be a variable types. Okay, and in the collections, you can see the sequence, list, and option. All these things. We'll discuss much more on these things later. And coming to the string data type, in the underlying, if you see here, it is pointing to java.lang.string. For strings, we'll still be using same the Java-based string classes only. Okay. On top of that Java-based string classes, we have some extra rich features from Scala string-like classes that we'll discuss in another few slides. Okay. Yeah. And any, if you see here, non-numeric data types, some of the non-numeric data types here. So any is the root of all the data types in Scala. If you can specify that as type, you can assign any value. And any val, it can only take values, either these numeric types, char, boolean, or these things. And any reference can take the classes or the collections or string type. Okay. And nothing, the subclass of all types. This is the childest class, I can say. Okay. The null is the subclass of all any reference type signifying a null value. Char is just a Unicode character, true or false. The string, you can give a new string. And to declare the variables here in Scala, we use var command, var keyword. Okay. So in order to declare any variable, so let's say var and variable name colon, either you can give space or even if you don't give space, that's fine. So space colon, it's data type. Okay. So this is where Java guys will get confused for some time. So they start giving string s equal to foo or something like that. So they will forget the syntax. Even I do the same kind of mistakes most of the times because we got used to Java syntax. So that's where you try to give the same Java syntax and you'll see the problems. Now here, var space followed by variable name followed by colon, its data type and its initialized value on right side of your assignment operator. And we have also constants. These are variables, anything that are declared with var are variables, and anything that are declared with val. Val is nothing but a constant in Scala, immutable variable. We call it as, so even though these things also comes under the variables section, we call them as immutable variable. So in English terms, if you see this statement, it's a contradictory, immutable and variable. Okay, but don't take it that way. And val or var, just specify if you don't have any initialization value, so you can just simply end it. If you do not assign any initial value to a variable, then even then it is valid. Same like in Java. Okay.
Shiva,
Yes, Mamta.
okay, I think if, for me it's too fast. Can you just go back 1 or 2 slides back?
Okay.
Yeah, one more slide if you don't
Okay.
mind. Yeah. So
Yep.
value type and reference type. When sorry Shiva, and my little one is here. And if everything is
Hello. Mm, I think I lost your audio, Mamta.
oh, sorry, I was on mute. See, when everything is an object, so where is this value type and reference type? I was a bit confused here because even you said that it's completely object oriented, and even
Yep.
this whatever we had primitive types like double, all these variables
Correct.
basically, double boolean,
Yep.
and it's still on the value type.
Correct.
And
I got your question. Like, so you are telling that both are like objects only.
yeah.
The double, float, all these are classes.
Mm-hmm.
So all these are also okay. Let me keep you on mute. I will explain you first. Okay. All these are classes only, and these are also classes only. Um, but these can directly store the values. These are like, so this complex, you can take them as a complex types. String is nothing but a sequence of characters, an array of characters, right? And list is nothing but a collection of doubles, collection of floats, collection of longs, collection of ins. Sequence also we can take it as a collection of this thing. So here value types meaning one single units that we give, right? So double can be 1000.5, 1000.05. Float can be 10.50. Long can be 10,000. Int can be. This is one single value. Any val meaning they can store only one single value. Any of these things under reference types, these are like a bunch of values. If you observe these in detail. So sequence, list, or any of these collection objects are nothing but a group of elements, and string is nothing but a group of things. So to categorize those two into differently, so even though they both are objects, so we have which the data types which can take one single value is any val, and a reference, an object for multiple values is under reference types. Does that make sense, Mamta?
In a way, it's still like it is primitive, but only what I understood.
No,
It may be wrong.
primitive in the sense the keyword primitive meaning you don't have object for that. The actual
Yeah.
meaning of primitive. Okay. So similar to primitive, but still we'll be creating those data types with the help of the Scala classes, not the keywords, not just the
Okay.
primitive keywords.
And I had another quick, I don't know whether it is really related to this, because when we see this, the way the reference type are associated in the memory, like stack and in other places, right? Is it the same thing holds good here, or is it different?
Yes, same thing. The memory.
Okay, value type will be in a stack and reference type will be in the same thing, same concept here.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And where is the date and date type? Where does
Date
it fall?
classes are there. You can consider them under reference.
Okay, it's a class. Okay.
Classes. It's a class. So since
Okay.
any other classes that comes, you can take it in the any reference.
And what about this unit is the only thing you said that it can be null return type. When it is a null return type, is it?
Unit is nothing but there is nothing to return. Then we define this as unit as a return type for methods. I will show some examples on them. Okay.
Okay, because I saw some in one of your slides null also,
Yep.
so I got confused between both.
Yep. Null is a subclass of all your reference types, and nothing is a subclass of all other data types. Meaning, it could be of any val or it could be of any reference. There is nothing to return. Meaning, if your method is got some exception, there is nothing to return. And in that case, that return type will become the nothing. And you don't need to explicitly specify these things, these special data types. Your Scala will internally handle them.
Okay, and we don't have any exception handling and all those things, right? Do we have
No, we do have exception handling. We'll discuss.
Okay, okay. No, okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. First start with the basics, and slowly you can master all these things. Okay. First, get used to define the strings, integers, and then we'll go to the collections, and then we can see the classes. And
Yeah. Because when I was going through these variables, so I got confused when you said class, and again with the way reference type and value type. That's where I stopped you. Sorry for that.
Yep, no problem. Okay. Yeah. Let me mute. Now, yeah, this is how we are able to define the variables. Let's see some of the variables getting declared there. The shell. Okay. So Control L will clear out the screen in Scala shell. Say where I, which is of type int, could be of 100. And if I reassign a value to it, let's say I is already declared above and 110. So now I is 110. If I declare value val j, which is of type integer, like let's say 500, this is defined. Now if I reassign this to j equal to, I made it 600. So I'm receiving an error message saying that reassignment to val. I'm trying to reassign a value to reassign new value to a val kind of variable. Meaning this is a constant. Anything that is declared with val keyword are immutables. Once declared, declared. If I give val j equal to 600, am I reassigning or redeclaring? Yeah, some people ask me these kind of questions. That's fine. I'm showing this.
So when you say val is a constant, right?
Yep.
Val is a constant. So constant means you cannot reassign the value, or that value cannot be changed, basically.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And so when you are saying val j is equal to 600, because it's the same 600, is it taking because the value is same?
No. So
No,
here
so
I give 500.
then it cannot be constant, right? or you are reassigning
That's
again?
why, I mean, let me put you on mute. I mean, for you only, I mean, I'm showing you this example. I mean, I got similar kind of questions. So that's why I'm explaining this. Okay, let me complete this. Okay. Thing is, here you are reassigning. So you already declared a J with val J int 500 and that J equal to 600. So here in this statement, you know that J is already declared as a val, okay? And you are trying to reassign a new value to it. You are using this and you're trying to assign a new value to it. So, and assigning a new value to constant is not possible. Here in the shell, so what if you already use a J variable, J is already declared, okay? And in case in your program, in your Eclipse, if it is your Eclipse, you are not allowed to redeclare the same. Let's say val j int equal to 100. Okay. And if I give j equal to 200, it will not allow me to do that. If you see the error message, so reassignment to val, the same error coming here, right? So if I try to give val j int equal to 300, so this time in the shell, so it is showing you the error messages. So j is already defined as value j. Okay. So val j is already declared, right? That's the error message set. But in your Scala shell, if you start with val or anything that with val or var, it will freshly override this declaration. Declaration is gone. This is as good as you are redeclaring one more variable. Not sure whether you got it or got
Yeah, I got it, because it's a shell, right? It can be one.
Yeah, once
You're
you declare J and I say you can never use J for any other purpose. That will not solve our purpose in shell, right? So that's why,
Yeah.
yes, you are again telling that I am declaring a new variable J that is a constant and take this initial value. So it will start from this execution. So it will forget this value. Okay.
I got it. I got it. Because in Eclipse, it was already defined. You cannot redefine because it's like assigning another value. So that error was correct.
Yes. Okay.
So I got it, because it's a shell here.
Yep.
You don't have the sequence or to really maintain that.
Yep. Correct.
Okay. Thanks, Shiva.
Okay. Yeah, that's, I mean, this sometimes many people get confused that, so that's why I try to clarify. Okay.
Okay.
The next, yep. Next val, yeah, val and var difference we have seen, the constants and variables, and let's see. So some of the data types that we have seen there, right? Any reference. Generally, we don't use these things, but simply to just make you understanding that. Let's say var a, which is of any type, if you can give 500. So 500 is a value, right? This is one single value I can take. So reference is like a collection of objects, a collection of values, right? Mainly the collections, classes, and strings are the subclasses of the reference type. Now 500 is a value, so it will not take that. So the result of an implicit conversion must be more specific than any reference. Either you can give a val, since this is a value, or if you want to be even more specific, You can give int, you can give, let's say you can give float, then it became 500.0 this way. Okay, so if it is in that hierarchy, if it falls under value types, value part of it, you can declare them as any val. If it falls under this wing, you can declare them under any reference. If you're not sure under which it can fall, you can always define any variable with any type. Okay. Next, yeah, the functions. I didn't talk. We didn't talk about the syntax for function. Let me keep this aside for some time. We'll discuss that later. Okay. And again, the same thing. Like you can only use nothing if the method never returns, meaning it cannot complete normally by returning. It could throw an exception. This thing also exceptional scenario, red scenario. We'll discuss this later. Okay, since I didn't explain the functions yet. Next, the numeric types we have seen. So to declare the strings. So strings are the most commonly used data types in any language, right? It could be a Java, it could be a Pig or Hive or anything. So you need to be thorough and good at string operations as well. So to declare a string, var your string name, colon, the data type is string, and you can give the initial value. And in the backend, it uses the java.lang.string class only. And in addition to that, so it implements some string-like some features, some of these methods. All these methods on strings can be applied. So apply is the one method that is available on strings to retrieve the nth character of the string. Apply of n, if you give apply of n, the nth character will be returned. Capitalize meaning it converts your string into camel case, the first letter into uppercase, 2 byte converts into byte, double, float, int, long, short. All these into other data types can also be converted. We can use some more methods like drop, all these things. Okay, let's say if I have var str, which is a string, let's say Scala. So in learning these string operations is better in Eclipse even than your shell, because in Eclipse, the advantage with APIs is whenever you type any object and dot control space, it will list down all the methods that you can apply on the strings, right? So that is the better place to learn these strings. Like var str, let's say string equal to hello or something. Okay. Now, if you want to apply any methods, if you want to know the list of all the operations on strings, you can see these are the list of. You can check, you can explore all these things. All these methods coming from java.lang.string class only. Okay, so compare with other contains to see whether there is a sequence of characters are available, whether it ends with O or not, ends with LO. See, they selected, even in my Scala object class, I ran the selected piece of code only with Scala interpreter. It ran hello and str dot ends with lo. Yes, it is true. Starts with he. Yes, it will. So you just have to explore all these operations on strings, and it's very important. Having an index in your brain, what are the methods that you can perform on your strings? The string operations are very important in any language. It could be your Hive, it could be your Impala, it could be your Pig or Java or anything. Generally, we deal all our data in the form of strings only, right? So that's why is empty last to find whether a matching keyword is present in that or not. Matches. Replacing a particular set of characters with other set of characters. Replace all or replace only first, and split your string by some delimiter, split by comma, split by tab, and to check with starts with, and to take a substring, a portion of the string starting from 1 to 10 characters, or from 10th character to 20th character, that way, and to convert into lowercase or uppercase, okay, and to remove the front trailing and leading spaces, and all these are coming from the java.lang.string classes, and along with them we have some of the rich set of APIs. Concatenation you can do use plus plus or set the strings. Okay, add string to string builder. Apply to get.
I thought we cannot use plus plus, right?
That is on your this things val types. Okay, so this is like plus plus to build the traversable. This is on collections. Collections with plus plus is meaning combining, concatenating two collections. That I will show you once we discuss about the lists. But in strings, we will not use much this. Just plus is also enough. Okay, contains to see and compare with other string, and equals ignore case, and copy to drop some strings from the string, and flat map, all these things. Flat map, fold, these things need a bit more discussions. We'll discuss them later, okay, at least for now. So you guys need to be aware with like something like replace and ends with, starts with, and substring. These things you should be able to practice. You should practice. Replace, substring, drop, apply, and what else? Contains. Okay, uppercase or compare dot equals. So at least bare minimum these methods on string, you should learn it for the first phase. Okay. So try with these things in the Eclipse. Just try to compare these things. Okay. Next. See.
Shubha, do we have those, because it is using like a Java string, right?
Yep.
I mean, it all those methods, whatever string gives, are much more than that, are a bit different. And there are some scenarios wherein we have to use some escape characters, special characters.
We'll
we can
come
still
there.
use.
Coming there. I got your question.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. So this is the basic thing, right? So basic operations that you can do. So, and also the concatenation. So with just plus symbol also will happen. Okay, don't need to go for the plus plus or something. Like unlike collections. So you can see the simple declaration S1, S2, and S3. So here I declared hello, hello, and H plus E hello. Java guys may get surprised with S1 double equal to S2. You can always compare two integers, two floats, and two longs, any primitive data types with double equal. But anything that is object in Java, you can't compare them with double equal to check the value equality. So double equal to in Java will only tell us whether they both are referring to the same object or not. Okay, your values may not be compared with double equal to in Java, especially in strings. Strings we don't compare with double equal to in Java. We compare it with dot equals. But in Scala, you don't have that differentiation. Any type, any reference data types or any val data types, anything can be compared with double equal operator. And one good thing with this is it will also checks for the null values. If in Java, if one of the value is null, it will throw null pointer exception. It will not return a false or true statement. Here in Scala, if one of the value is null and the other value is non-null, it will return false value. Your application will not throw any exception. Okay?
When you have null and a string, when I compare, suppose null plus some string, will like the value or null?
Null plus null, how
It's
will
a
you?
test plus null. Suppose one string will have null, one string will have test. When I compare, what do I get? But when I do the concatenation, will the null be? In most of the cases, when you go null with something will be null. Here it is null or test.
It is a test. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay, got it.
yeah, I mean that is in Oracle SQL. So null with any operation will become null.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
concatenation.
Thanks.
Yep. So null in the sense you can't give the null in single quotes or something. Okay. So at the time of declaration, if it is null value, so if you try to append any value to it, that new value will come.
I can also append with some ASCII characters.
ASCII?
Yeah. ASCII means we can convert, right? Suppose, let's say I have some special characters or some tab, some character.
Yep.
Instead of mentioning that character,
you can
I
do
can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. You can concatenate with tab symbol. You can concatenate with any other characters, ASCII characters that you can give. Okay.
Okay.
So \n, that way it will become a new line characters into the same string. Okay. So you can even give the multi-line strings in Scala with simple notation. If you give the triple quotes, you can write your strings into any number of lines. Meaning, here, let's say if you have var str2, which is of string, let's say I have triple quote. Okay, so I can give Mamta Madhavi Purushottam. Any number of lines I can give. I don't need to give any other special plus or minus. In Java, we generally do what we do is we end the double quotes there and we plus and write into new line and plus write into new line, that kind of stuff. Okay. So now your question is that, let's say, what if I have this? Your special characters, the same escape sequences, format escape sequences, you can specify them. And there is one more way of notation of strings, that is yes. And here you can even give the, this is more of like a Unix-based string representation where you can use the variables inside directly. Hello, and like dollar of str or dollar of j. So now this is, let me comment this stuff else. Okay. Okay. So specifying yes before that, before your double quotes, is even more simpler way of writing your, combining your actual text and as well as your variables. Most of the times, if you remember in Java, if we need to print any variables there, let's say if I have int I equal to 100, okay, if I need to print this, so I value is value of I is, so then you have to write it plus I, right? And what if you have j also, it's j equal to 200, and plus you need one space there, and then value of j is j. Okay. And similarly, if you have age, you have to concatenate so many strings here. But the advantage with substitute, I mean, with this we call as a substitute or something, this s with string, you can write your entire string in one single double quotes, and you can just specify if you want to refer any variables values, either you can give dollar variable name, or you can even give that in the curly braces. Either of them is fine. Okay. Now, if I give hello $j, so it will print 100, and then it will print this string 2. Okay. See, any other special character, whatever you gave. So anything that I gave as it is, inside your multi-line string, even this thing came out, and the value j here. This got printed. Hello, 100, Mamata, Madhavi, Purushottam, Gopinath. Okay. This is another form of your strings usage. One another advantage with your strings.
is more handy when you
Yep.
have special
Yep.
characters and you
So it is
for
more handy than your Java notation, because in Java notation you have to escape so many things and you have
and
to concatenate.
triple quote is also handy.
Yep. Okay. The triple quotes is also handy. So these are some of the string operations. Now, yeah, let's move on to next thing. Yeah, people who are coming from non-Java background, you'll not get surprised with this section. Coming from Java, so you can feel comfortable now with, you can even compare the strings with double equal operators. Okay? There is nothing much confusion, don't get confused here. And for Python guys, you can, in Scala, you can compare anything. It could be your reference data types or val data types, anything that can be compared with double equal operator. Okay. Seems like some outside noise is coming here. So next thing is, we see one of the very good feature of, yeah, we see some rich set of features of the strings also right here, and slowly we'll see the now we'll start with the functional programming features also for Scala. So one out of them is type inference, meaning you don't need to tell the data type to Scala. It will recognize it for you. Okay. So till now, I was declaring my variables where str equal to where str colon string Scala. So if I give where str2, I don't define the data type. I just give volt. So automatically it identified based on the value, the best suitable match. It found it out. It gave this string data type. So what if I give var f equal to 100.50? So it became double. So if I give f, meaning floating, so it is able to convert or take it as float data type. If I give only the 500, so it took it as 500. If I give it as L, it took it as long. Meaning, based on your value, it is able to derive the data types. That is called type inference. The same feature of your Python language. Python also, we don't need to define the data types. Just use I equal to 100. So automatically that will be treated as an integer data type. And you can use that in any arithmetic operations. You'll not get any issues. And if you give any value in single double quotes, that will be taken as string, and you can apply any string operations on that. You will not get any exceptions. You will not get any cast exceptions. The implicit cast conversions will also be taken care by Scala.
But what is the standard way? Does it don't sometimes mess up, right? Because JavaScript we have something, and even some other language, and especially when you have a lengthy program or some values and strings associated with that. What is the standard practice in industry?
In Scala, we don't specify the data type unless until it is mandatory or it's conflicting. Anyway.
So we can just go and assign values and keep on going?
Yes, that's it. If you don't have any initial value to it, or not sure whether it could be of any data not sure what could be the initial value that you can give, then you can give the data type and leave it where.
Suppose, let's say for var f is equal to 5001, and for again I'll say var f is equal to hello. Does it take it?
Yeah, that is called dynamic type inferencing. Python will support that, whereas Scala is statically typed language, meaning it defines the data type if you don't provide it, but it defines that data type only once. You can't override that data type once again.
Okay, again if I say f is equal to hello, it doesn't take.
Obviously. Okay.
Okay.
Where f equal to 500 you have given, it took this as a integer. If you try to give hello, see, the required is int, but you provided string. Type mismatch.
But sometimes the number also, we suppose, let's say we have account numbers. It's a number, but we still pass it as a string. That can be in a string, right? Okay.
Yep. This is what you're asking?
Yeah.
You have to convert that into int.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. And for the methods, we don't have to specify anything, right? How does it identify a property or a method?
Which method?
Because you said that 500 to int, you're converting that string 500 into integer, right?
Yep.
So, see, functions or methods or whatever it is. So this is a function, right? To int is a conversion function on the string.
Correct. What is the confusion here? I'm not getting your question.
Because how do we define how do we know whether it is a function or a property for me when I see some other's code? Suppose
anything that has a dot and these things, based on the notation function, the method convention that being called with the dot, and the method name start with lowercase, okay, and the camel case follows onwards. After that, any other words will have the uppercase letter starting.
How about for properties?
What property we are talking about here?
Because in the string, okay, I'll come back to that later. It might be too early. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. So we didn't talk about any properties here, right? Okay. And you can assign your values to variables and let Scala decide the data types for them. Okay. So we don't need to worry about that. And the same thing can be done with multiple assignments also at the same time. So you can do the multiple assignments at the same time. Hey, let me know if it is background noise is too much noisy. I will try to find out my headphones or something, or let me give it some pass. Is it too noisy?
I think we can still manage. You don't know whether it might be a profession or something. It will take time. Don't worry. For me, it is okay. Ask the team.
I think it's okay. We don't have much time left, so maybe you should continue.
Yeah. Some event is going on the road, so they are making the band music. That is. Okay. Yeah. So you can even assign multiple values at the same time to your multiple variables. This is one another very good advantage, I can say. You can declare all your variables in one place and you can initialize them, and you can start using those variables also either in a collection fashion or we call them as a tuples here. Okay. So if you have two values, two value tuples, and if you have, or we call that as a pair. If we have more values, 3 value tuples, 4 value tuples, and 5 value tuples, like that. Okay, and here val. Just give me a second. I'm getting too much of this.
Are you talking, Shiva? We can't hear you.
I think he said 1 minute he might be back.
Hello?
Yes, Shiva, we can hear.
Yeah, let me find headphones so that you will not get this noise. I think it's over there. Yeah. So hey, is it better now? Yeah, there is some festival activities going on here in Hyderabad, Bonam festival. Okay, because of that, some maybe today and tomorrow, we may get this kind of sounds. Okay. Anyway, since we don't have session tomorrow, it would be okay. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm trying to declare here is that. So val f1, comma f2. Let's say you can give just 100, and you can, these can be of heterogeneous data types as well. May not need to be like var types or something. Okay, so here f1 and f2, these two are like the two variables, integer, string. Okay, you can even define the data types for these things. Like either you can define the data types or you can reassign them without the data types. Okay, and in the similar notes, I have received some questions from previous batch. You can define any number of tuples there. Let's say 500.05. All these things. You can declare, like, let's say if you have a table, I can declare them as name, okay, or ID. This makes more meaningful, right? Name, sal, branch ID or something, okay? So declaring this way also your record values is possible. You can use ID. Hello. So
We
declare
can
all of
hear.
them, and you can use it as it's a tuple. Okay, and start using those variables and values. Okay. So next, method parameters and variable scopes. Okay, switch case statements. Yeah. So let me complete these 3 slides, and we'll discuss the methods or the function definitions in the next class. And I have one update for next class. We don't have our next class on Friday, meaning my Friday, your Thursday night. So we'll be having our Saturday morning. My Saturday morning, your Friday night. So this is because I'm kickstarting the next Hadoop batch from next Friday onwards. And Friday, I will just give the first demo. And starting from Monday onwards, the actual classes will start. Okay. So for next week, we'll have only 2 classes, one on Saturday morning, and Sunday morning.
Shiva, if not on, I mean, Saturday and Sunday, like, is there a way wherein you can take at least 15-20 minutes session if we have any doubts for setting up in between?
Yes. Okay. I mean, this is, yeah.
Because once these things, when we have the setup, like, by next weekend, we can practice something. That's why I'm requesting.
Sure. Okay. First, also try to download the Scala Eclipse IDE as well. Set it up, and in case if you are really facing something,
yeah, I tried. It didn't. That's why I need little
Scala
help.
Eclipse. Scala Eclipse. I'm talking about.
Yeah, Eclipse Luna, right?
Yep.
Scala Eclipse.
Yep.
Scala
I gave you that
Eclipse.
link, right?
I didn't go through your document, Shiva. I didn't have time.
Okay. Yeah, just download it and extract it. So in case if you are really facing any shell issues, you can directly practice the same things in the same way. I mean, I'm showing you here, right? The worksheet, or you create an object, and or inside this you can start executing your Scala code.
Okay.
Either ways is fine. Okay. So I'm trying to show you both the ways so that you can get familiar with all the available options. That's my intention. But in real time, we'll rarely be going to the shell part. Okay. You'll be mostly doing all your development on your Eclipse only.
Okay. And Eclipse, but it's not like Hadoop, right? Like we have to make a jar and we cannot edit it there. We can do anything, right?
Here,
and the Windows. Yeah.
Yes, you can. Scala, you can.
Yeah, because it's a complete program. We don't have any. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So next, let's discuss these variables types we have discussed, and let's discuss their scope. So we can discuss. We can declare these variables either val or val, var or val, and anything that you pass to a method parameter will always be treated as val. You don't need to explicitly make it as val, meaning once you pass a parameter val types, any data types that falls under any val, they will be constants, and once you come out of the method, they will remain same. Okay. So if you want to change those values, you have to pass it as an object or reference types. Okay, this might be confusing at this point of time. Since I didn't talk about much on methods, let me defer this, the practical execution of this to the next class. Okay, when I declare about and then when I explain about the methods, then we'll see that. So anything that you define inside a method, those are called local to that method, called as local variables and are only accessible from inside that method, and outside of the method they will not be available. Okay. So expression oriented language, meaning Scala is also called as expression oriented language. This is also one another feature inherited from Python. You can assign any expression to variables or constants. So val I equal to 3 makes sense. This is a value being assigned to it. But you are assigning entire if-else statement to it, right? Generally in Java, you can't do this. If I greater than 0, return -1, else -2. This is an if-else condition. You assign that if-else condition altogether to a variable. So from the previous statements, whatever the I value that comes, if it is 100, it will return -1 into P. If it is 50, if it is -100, it will return -2 to P.
It's only the value it returns, right? Not the statement.
Yes. Meaning you can assign this expression at the time of coding itself, right? So anyway, expression is nothing but it will get finally calculated and final value will get returned.
Okay. Either you get -1 or -2 in P.
Yep.
Okay.
So that P value will be decided dynamically, not at compile time. Meaning
Yeah, because you can identify here.
Yep. So same thing. This is also one another expression. You can see this thing. You can execute these things. Okay. Now this is also one other expression. Anything that you can. An expression is a single unit of code that returns a value. Okay. All these are expressions only. X plus 10, fi star 20, and this is also an expression. Val amount equal to, in curly braces, val x equal to 5 star 20 and x plus 10. Now, let's say if you take this, x is 100 and x plus 10, 110. So 110 is the result of this last statement of this expression block, and this 110 will get assigned to amount. Okay. For example, we can see that where x equal to so to run this, I don't even need anything. Just so amount got its data type got decided dynamically at runtime as int, and it got assigned to 110. See, meaning you don't need any. You can assign any kind of expression to variables or constants. Okay.
Yeah, this is all interesting, which is good.
And I mean, Python guys will not get surprised with these features. So whatever that we discussed for first 3-4 days, Python guys will not get surprised because all these features are inherited from Python. So that's why, I mean, Hari and someone were asking me that, not from programming background. So whoever come from non-programming background, they like Python programming because that is more user-friendly kind of English kind of language, and it's easy to understand. You can get that. I have seen many guys coming from BA background. They might not be strong with Java or any other languages, but they always very comfortable in Python to write anything.
Yeah, BI.
BI.
Okay.
Okay.
Because BA is more of business analytics, right?
Yeah,
They get the
BJ.
requirement.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about BI.
Okay.
Okay.
It is also same thing, right? What we do in big data is also same thing.
Correct. Correct. It's
It's
something, at
different.
least if bare minimum logic needs to be run. So they have that fear. Oh, it's Java, I can't do it.
But
So
there you have all SSIS, SSRS, and you have some tools get ready made. You don't write all those SQL code back.
yeah, might be. I'm not that expert in SSIRS or something.
You have all the tools to get ready, and you can write the same code, but you have all the tools, drag and drop tool kind of a things. It does everything.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So this is one another advantage with expressions being assigned to some variables or constants. And next, we'll see one switch case statement. If else conditions, I didn't highlight much since anyway you have it here then. So I will show you the switch case statements. So we don't have switch keyword here. So just case statements is enough for us. This is one method actually. This is one method definition. So define error message. I'm passing the error code int. And inside the method definition here, right side, if you check error code, or yeah, if I need to defer this method explanations to later, I can explain the second part of it. So let's say I have val status equal to 500, val message equal to status match. Match is the Scala keyword, and case statements are same like your Java, but syntax you will have arrows here. Okay. If it is 200, the status code is 200, then successful. Especially this is for web services, web service HTTP response code types. 200 is successful. 400 is means error. We call the service incorrectly. 500 means the service encountered an error. So internal server error. So this is being printed, and error message. The string will be returned to this message. For here, this thing. Let me execute this.
Full then map reduce.
What is it?
This is more meaningful than map reduce.
Okay. Yeah, just execute this portion. Okay. So what is it returned? So I set that status code as 500. So it called it. So it printed error, the service encountered error, status int equal to 500 still. The message string is error. This is the one that I am returning. And one good advantage with case statements in Scala is you don't need the break statements. Let's say, suppose, if it is the same Java, if I don't have break statements after each case statement, okay? So after 400 case statement execution, if I don't have break, then even 500 will also get executed in Java, okay? That loophole is no longer valid in here. So it will execute only the 400 portion. See, it executed, we call the service incorrectly. So this message got executed and this value got assigned to this message error. But after that 500, these statements were not executed. So automatically, so after this case statement execution, the control got returned back to out of that case match. Whereas in Java, it will not happen. It will, if you don't provide return or break statement, it will continue executing the next sequence of statements as well. That was drawback of Java. Here, you don't have that. Okay. And the same way, inside the method also, it's the same thing like error code, match, case 1, while not found, exception, case 2, permission denied, case 3, invalid operation. And default values you can define with underscore, case space underscore, the default value. Okay. In the next session, we'll talk about function definitions. What are all the different types of defining functions? How do you pass parameters? How do you specify the return types? And what are optional? And some uh, control statements. Okay. So while loops, for loops, arrays, and different types of functions, anonymous functions, closures, higher order functions, okay, and few things on some of the other functional programming features. Then we'll start with the OOPS concepts. Okay, we'll spend at least another 3 to 4 classes minimum, or minimum 4 classes in Scala. And
Shiva,
yes, Manta.
after all is done, is it possible to spend 5-10 minutes for me to set up?
Yep, I'm done.
Oh.
I will help you. Why don't you, if I'm done with the session, let me request people to poll their questions. So if no one is having questions, I can start giving you here itself. Okay. Any questions from others? Deepankar, Gopi, Hari. Okay. Is it clear, Hari? I mean, is it simple enough to start with? It's on mute. Purushottam, Kalpana, any questions?
Yes, Shiva. What is the Java version supported for Scala?
1.7.
Okay, I mean, previously I installed with 1.6. I'm facing problem, and even after installing 1.8 also.
Yeah. What is it? Sorry, I didn't get.
I mean, I'm facing problem with 1.6 as well as 1.8. So, yeah.
So why don't you download the JDK? I mean, yesterday we have seen it, right? When the Scala is getting started up, it's using the JDK 1.7.
Okay, I mean, I started with the latest version of Java.
Then the very recent version of Scala, we have to see. The better compatible, the one JDK that we use even in our client place is JDK 1.7 under releases 51 or 52. Okay, so any version, any subversion in JDK 1.7 should work. So try to uninstall the 1.8 and install the JDK 1.7. Okay, and then download the Scala 2.11 or 2.11. Any subversion is fine.
Okay, yeah, I will try with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. No problem.
Shiva, do you have the Eclipse Luna, the installed one ready? Because I have some
Eclipse
issues.
Luna, you don't need to install it. Just download and extract, use it. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Download
and yes,
and
she
use
said,
it.
I installed also 1.8. That's the reason yesterday I asked which version we need to use it. You want me to uninstall and install 1.7?
No, 1.8. Uninstall 1.8. Maybe if you are facing issues, try with 1.7. JDK 1.7. Did you get it? Okay. No more questions?
Shiva, actually, this is Madhavi. After you're done with Mamta, maybe.
Yeah, I saw that chat, Madhavi. Yeah, we can see that. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Thank you all. Yeah. So let me end the session. You can join back in with the same link, Mamta, in another 5 minutes. Okay. I will ping you, Madhavi. Once it is done, I'll ping you on WhatsApp. You can join back.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.